Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm Reverendo Shorty, and today we're going to review the Uncanny Spider-Man. A few things about this comic book which should be true for anything I review with these key facts. Number one, it's written by Simon Spurrier, and I'm going to at some level, prove everything Simon Spurrier does. He's a great writer. It is coloured by Jordie Bellaire. She is one of the greatest colourers in comics at the moment. Anything she does is worth paying attention to. It involves uncanny, mutant-esque kind of things, and Spider-Man, which are two things where, in the Marvel Universe, I do not know enough about, which I know is an odd thing to admit as a reviewer, but honestly, there's so much going on. I read a few bits and pieces of them. I'm vaguely aware of the Fall of X-Men story at the moment, and I am reading a couple of the Spider-related things, mostly Miles Morales and Red Goblin. Excuse me. So, that being said, there's a lot of stuff there which is just, it is the way it is. Get used to me reviewing comics in a certain way. You'll see me talk about these things in the same manner quite often. What stands out from this one is we have an artist called Lee Garbett, who is a very good Marvel artist, meaning he works in the Marvel in-house style and does a good job with it. He elevates it a little bit in interesting ways. Firstly, he plays with form just a little bit. He still stays within the lines. He doesn't really go out of the way to really blow my mind with really interesting layouts, but he does good things with what he's being given. He understands how to use negative space really effectively, and with the help of Bellaire, he can leave stuff just blank in the background and trust that she's going to colour it in such a way that if he doesn't put detail in, it doesn't just look like this story is taking place in a void, which is one of my big problems with lack of background in framing. Also, there's a bit around about like a 2/3 through comic book where we get Spider-Man and Nightcrawler having a conversation. Even though there's just two people sat down eating pizza, he managed to make how they're sitting and how they're gesturing towards each other really good at adding characterization. Like, it adds to the dialogue and the script that's already in place in ways which are really good. Again, it's just, it elevates it. Doesn't blow my mind, but it don't have to all the time. Sometimes just turn up and do the job and do it well, and I'll be happy with it. And that's exactly what he's done right now. He also, within the Hickman-esque way of telling comic book stories, there is a couple of infographics in there, and I like that Hickman does this. I like that he kind of gave everyone who's doing the X-Men comic books like freedom to play around with this as a way of having fun with form. There's two really good ones in this. First off, there's honestly, it's more like a graphic design kind of thing rather than art, but it is an in-universe propaganda poster from Orchis, talking about how they've done a really good job of getting involved in the mutants, and you should trust them because they're awesome. And it has a little handy catchphrase, taking the X out of NYC. It is really simple and effective. Probably effective because it is simple in terms of what propaganda would actually look like, what propaganda does look like. People like nice, simple, easy to remember statements, and the idea of having an enemy which is different to other people, or different to themselves, so they are the other or the out group. This is all perfectly standard stuff, and it's done really effectively in this book. The second one is, it's a website which exists in universe, spiderstands.mvl, I think it is. Excuse me. It is basically a forum or message board where people go and talk about various Spider-Men or Spider-Man characters within the in-Marvel universe. And this entire thread is basically because a new one has appeared. He looks like that. And people are trying to decide what to call him. And I find this actually quite adorable for numerous reasons. Number one, I just like the fact that people just accept it. There is multiple Spider people now. This was a fantastic joke in an old issue of A-list. I was going to say Jessica Jones, but I can't remember if that's her actual name now. But yes, a joke in an earlier issue of those, they talk about like two henchmen getting high and being worried about how many Spider-Men there are out there. There only used to be 2 or 3, but now there's loads of them. And I kind of like that this still exists in the Marvel Universe, and naming or choosing their name for it was really kind of funny, because somebody very early on suggests Devil Spider, at which point somebody immediately comes with, no, that was a really lame thing with Daredevil. I can't believe we don't have like people who know what they're talking about, who not just link to a list of all the names of Spider-Man so people can just know what's going on. Then a bit further down, somebody goes, oh, how about Devil Spider? And then the conversation carries on, and right at the bottom, it goes, oh, I can't believe nobody's suggested Devil Spider yet. I find that entertaining because it's clearly riffing on this idea that people read the top line of a thread and then just drop right into something that I've done myself on occasion. And it's just funny because it's a real world kind of thing. But when it comes to writing, there's one thing which is important for this comic book. It is funny. Yes, there is plot in there which does tie into what's happened with Spider-Man, like there's reference to that costume that he's wearing, and there's an awful lot of it tying in with the Orchis Fall of X-Men kind of thing, which again I have been reading a little bit of, so I'm vaguely aware what's going on. But to make sure that this is fully accessible, he's having fun with what's going on. It starts with having 2 goon characters at the beginning, having a genuinely fun conversation where you realise that they are more than just henchmen. And this is kind of like a tried and tested joke within a comic book, or even like any kind of superhero or spy fiction or adventure fiction kind of writing. The idea that the random mooks you meet actually are their own people with their own lives. Thing is, explicitly stating it in text means you're aware of that joke and you're having fun with that joke, and that is the key to the humour in this one. Because when Kurt does finally defeat these two low level bad guys, he makes a pun. It's a kind of, well put, it's a fun little play on words, but it explains how the joke works to one of the goons, because the goon's not finding it as entertaining as he wants to, including pointing out this a homonym, and being kind of frustrated that this guy doesn't find it funny. And yes, explaining a joke is supposed to stop it being funny, but in this particular occasion, it works because, again, we're leaning into the fact that we know this is how the joke structure works in the Marvel universe, specifically with Peter Parker, the Amazing Spider-Man. Later on, when he's hanging out with Peter, the aforementioned bit where he's having pizza and sitting around chatting, he's explaining the joke again. Yes, repetition sometimes can't work, but I really like the fact that Spider-Man's Bureau is leaning into how repetition can make something funny, and how explaining a joke can make something funny, and how being aware of the tropes of humour can be funny. It is better than I thought it was going to be because of that. I was expecting Spider-Man's Bureau to do this really cool, amazing, action-filled stuff, which he does really, really well. I wasn't expecting it to be as funny as it is, and I'm not at all disappointed by anything. Absolutely fantastic. I have gone over by a minute there, I do apologise, but I wanted to get through all that. Also, this week we've got a few things to review. I've got Hexagon Bridge, which looks to be fairly cool, high-concept sci-fi. We've got the new Captain America. We've got a new Wonder Woman, and by Tom King, which looks really, really cool. And Rare Flavors by Ram V. So there's like at least 4 more reviews coming out this week if I can squeeze them all in. If you don't want to miss them, make sure you hit the like and subscribe and press the button and make the bell ring, whatever you need to do. I have had a comment fairly recently talking about the fact that I hardly even watch my videos. I know this. I'm absolutely fine with it. I do, because it makes me want to go and read new comic books and actually look at how I engage with the art and engage with the medium. I'd really like it if more people watched, so if you do enjoy what we're doing, tell your friends. But I don't feel bad about it. Like, I'm absolutely fine talking to the few dozen people who seem to regularly turn up and watch me talk about comic books. So until I do another review, to all of you, look after each other. Stay safe. Bye!